Well, good evening, everybody. Dennis here from Canoehound Adventures, and we got a great show for you tonight. Thanks for joining in. Just like to get into a little bit of stuff here. This is our 18th episode, and just hope everybody had a fantastic week and that you had an opportunity to get outdoors and enjoy some of the nice weather that we've had. I know it's winter time and things should be, very, very, how do you say, cold, but it's not very cold. So, we'll take it as we get it and enjoy what we can. Canoehound's Outdoor Adventure Show is a weekly live stream show that brings you closer to the great outdoors. The show is geared towards bringing you hot topics and interviews with YouTube creators and the outdoor personalities that you enjoy to watch. We're here live every Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we hope you'll join us every week. So make sure you set your calendars up, except for next week, because there will not be a show next week, but I'll get into that announcement in a short little while there. If you're able to right now, I ask that please try and share this out on your social media feeds. Let's try and populate the show so that, we have a warm welcome for our guest tonight. And let's get the show populated. We do have a good show. We have a great host or a great guest on tonight, so we want to make sure that he gets the attention he deserves. Let's see here. Last week, we had a really good show. It kind of fell off the iron a bit there for the way things were originally supposed to be planned, but it did come into fruition, and we ended up with a good show regardless. We talked about the Outdoor Adventure Show that's taking place in Toronto on February 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. And thanks to my panel of guests who really helped out with the show last week. We had Camper Christina. We had Sean Rowley from Paddling Adventures Radio. We had David Bain, who is the organizer for the winter camping or canoe symposium and the Ontario Backcountry Canoe Symposium, which is coming up in April. I believe it's April the 4th. And sorry if you haven't got tickets for that because it's sold out. And then we also had Kevin Callan and a couple others that will be actually guest speakers at the Outdoor Adventure Show. So they were kind enough to join me on panel, and we did have some great conversation, and a lot of information was shared to make it so that you all can get out there and plan your attendance at the show, basically. For anybody that might be going to the show, I will be going myself on Saturday, which is the 22nd. And if you see me there, come on up and say hi. I'd love to chit chat with you. And it's always fun to meet people that watch the show here and follow me on Canoehound Adventures. And it's really nice to put faces to the names that I see here in the chat. Let's go on that side in the chat over here. So if you get the opportunity, please do pop on over. And also, stick around till at least 8 o'clock tonight because I will be giving away some Canoehound Adventures swag along with some free passes for the show that's coming up, obviously, in Toronto. Now, to share a bit of my own recent adventures. This past weekend, I actually got together with a few of my buddies from Kid Products. You hear me talking about them all the time. They're the makers of the Kid Twig Stove, one of my favorite twig stoves anyways. And there were 6 of us, and we went up to Mew Lake in Algonquin Park, and we camped for 2 nights, 3 days, and had a great time up there. We did a little bit of hiking up there. The skating rink was going, a lot of time in the warming hut, and it was my first experience in a hot tent. Now I could see what everybody's talking about when it comes to hot tenting. It really is awesome. It really is awesome. You get yourself nice and warm in there. It's comfortable. You get a good sleep at nighttime if you're fortunate enough to have somebody that's actually stoking the fire. But yeah, things were really cool. We had 3 guys in a hot tent, which was a big army style hot tent. I think it's a big prospector style is the name. And it was made actually in North Bay, Ontario. So I don't know how old this thing is, but it really served us well. And then, like I say, we went and checked out Mew Lake Falls. I think that's the name that's on the beginning of the Highland Trail. So really cool. If you haven't never had the opportunity to try hot tenting or winter camping, try it. And Mew Lake is a great place to get started with that because they have a warming tent. They have ice skating rinks. They have heated bathrooms. They have a laundry facility and a lot of really nice people. And one cool thing that happened to us here, or happened to us at the show, we actually run into Derek Spesh from Paddling Adventures Radio. I was fortunate enough to meet him. Well, I met him before, but see him and his wife and his 2 kitties. He had them out there winter camping in a hot tent, and it looked like they were having a blast. So kudos to them. I know they like to get out and do that often. And then after the camping was all done, we head into Huntsville. Of course, we had to make our ceremonial stop at Algonquin Outfitters. I was invited there by to pop in by Nate, who I see is in the chat here already. He's the manager of Algonquin Outfitters. And also Martin Pine from the YouTube channel Pine Martin was there, and we shared a few minutes there and had a little conversation, and I got them in the video, which will be coming out hopefully within the week, so we'll get that going. But the one neat thing was when I met Nate, he always said that he would greet me with a handshake and a beer. So Nate, here it is. I'm going to crack this bad boy right now. If anybody else out there has a beverage in hand or close by, now's the time to crack them and start the pour. And let's enjoy some great fellowship tonight. So here we are. Thanks to you, Nate. Much appreciated. Cheers, my friend. Good stuff. Alrighty, so now we got to get moving on here. Once again, if anybody has any hot topics that they'd like me to try and or guests that you'd like to see on the show, drop me an email at canoehound@gmail.com. I trip over that every time. I trip over something every show. I got to get over that. But anyways, yeah, you could email me at canoehound@gmail.com. Let me know who you'd like to see on the show, and we'll certainly try to see who we can get on. Get this shared out on your social media right now, like I said earlier, and let's get this show populated. And let's see here. Go through my notes here. Oh, next week, I just want to go over a bit of scheduling for the next couple of weeks because this is pretty important. Next week, I will not have a show. My wife is forcing me to go to Dominican Republic with her. Okay. That's okay, though. I'm looking forward to that. A little warm vacation, going from one extreme of the cold to the hot with one middle day in between. And that's cool. So there will be no show next week. But when we return on February the 18th, I am very excited for this show coming up. For anybody that's a hammock camper, and if you're familiar with a guy by the name of Shug, woo, buddy, is his one of his catchphrases. We're going to have Sean Emery from Shugemery on. And for those of you that may be into hammock camping, or if you're not and you're thinking about dabbling, this guy is full of ideas and advice and tips and tricks and the whole 9 yards. So make sure you tune in February the 18th and check out his channel early, get some information or check out his style. You're going to love the guy. He's a real personality. He's an entertainer, trained by Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. So he is a charismatic. And then on February 25th, we've got who is it? Oh, Brad. Sorry, we've got Brad Jennings from Explore the Backcountry. And so that's 2 great shows coming up once we return back into the live stream. So make sure you get them on the calendar, February 18th and the 25th. And last but not least, now you know that this show is an interactive show. I see a lot of people in the chat already. We've already got about 27 or 28 people in here. If you have any questions for our guest tonight or myself, please do just write in capital letters before your question, the word question. That way there I can identify it, get it up on the screen, and our guest can answer the question for you. If I do miss it, forgive me. I'm a one-man show. Just repost it again. I have no problem with that. So that's all cool. So without further ado, I just want to introduce tonight's guest. He's a lover of the Algonquin backcountry, and he says he's blessed to have his dream gig as a canoe tripping guide in Algonquin Park. He's also the host of a Rogers television series that is set to kick off a 2nd season very soon. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Mark Rubino. Hey, Mark, how are you doing tonight?
Good, Dennis. How are you?
Great. Look at that. We've got a great population of people in here already. So,
hi guys. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a good show tonight for sure. So, Mark, tell me and the viewers a little bit about yourself.
I've been going to Algonquin on a regular basis, quite a frequent basis for the last 20 years. And I think it was in 1999, 99, 2000, I discovered a website called AlgonquinAdventures.com. And it was a really diverse community of people there, paddlers, and I just fell in love with it. Like, I reacquainted with myself with Algonquin at that time. I had been to Algonquin a few times in the 80s, once in the 90s and the 70s with my father as a child, but I really didn't Algonquin Park really didn't capture my imagination until like 1999, and I just fell in love with it. I think it was in 2003 I went through a really tough time in my life, and I think maybe to get through that, Algonquin Park was there for me. I decided to go to Algonquin Park and do what I loved best, when that was explore the outdoors. And that really began my love affair with Algonquin Park. It really kicked it off. And probably about 3 or 4 years after that, I started my website, Mark in the Park. And it's just basically a website describing my journeys throughout the park with accompanying photos as a way to give back to the community that had given so much to me in rediscovering Algonquin Park. So yeah, and it just fed upon itself. And now I'm into my second season of this TV show. So I'm, imagine my surprise, like I started paddling 20 years ago on a regular basis in Algonquin Park, and here I am on a TV show about paddling in Algonquin Park. I never thought that would have happened, right? So
that is kind of a dream gig, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I love the I've been doing now for the last 2 seasons. I've been doing guiding with Algonquin Outfitters, and I'm just loving it. So it's a dream come true.
Yeah. So like, how did that happen? How did it come about that you actually landed this kind of a gig with Algonquin Outfitters? Like, did they just recognize you because you're there all the time?
It's actually, Jeffrey McMurtry of Jeff's Maps.
Yeah. He
alerted me to the fact that Algonquin Outfitters had put a request for guides out on some Facebook group that I didn't know about. Something about professional guiding or wilderness outdoors, whatever. Anyway, so I contacted Gord at Oxtongue Lake and asked him if he'd be interested in having me. And he's like, sure, come on by. So things progressed from there. But it was really Jeffrey McMurtry that tipped me off to that. So kudos to him for alerting me to that.
It's not called Jeff's Maps anymore, is it? It's called Unlostify, is it not? Or
yes, sorry.
Yeah, no. I just in case people weren't aware of that. So if you go doing a search for Jeff's Maps, you're probably going to come up on Unlostify, which is still the same great map, just a different name now, right?
Still waiting for an Algonquin map to come out on Unlostify. So
yeah.
Hopefully it'll be out sometime this year. I'm hoping. So
yeah. Well, maybe we'll see. We'll run into him at the Canoe Symposium coming up in April. I think he was there.
Maybe even the show you were talking about in Toronto this month. So
yeah. Oh yeah. That's true too.
He usually visits that show and walks around. So yeah.
Are you going to the show?
I wasn't planning to. I don't like crowds very much. I don't know. I get all tense. So.
Okay, people. So everybody, if you see Mark at the show, stay away from him. No.
I've been to the show many times. I think the first time I went there was because Les Stroud was speaking many moons ago, and I wanted to see him. I was quite the avid follower of him for years. And I don't know what he's doing these days, but I don't know if I'm going to the show this year. If I do, I'll probably go on a Saturday and join the rest of the crowd.
Well, that'd be all right if you do. Yeah, there'll be a lot of people there from people that I've been talking to. Most of them seem to be doing the Saturday thing. So
every time I've gone there, I've seen Kevin Callion there, and I've always wanted to talk to him, but there's always a crowd of people around him.
Yeah,
and it's funny because I think it was last year I was at the Canoe Symposium in Waterloo, and he was standing there talking to Sean Rowley, and there was nobody around him. And I went up to him. I didn't know what to say. I finally had my chance, and I didn't know what to say to him.
Yeah. So we got our first question up here from Camper 69. It's asking, where do you find freeze-dried ice cream bars? I've never seen them before.
I actually got them at MEC, Equipment Co-op here in Barrie.
Yeah.
At that time, I don't know if they're still available there or not, but I just stumbled upon them. And I'm like, I scooped them up.
And they are surprisingly good.
Actually, I'm thinking, yeah, it was. I could be mistaken. It was either MEC or it was Sorgen Outdoors.
I've actually purchased them from MEC.
Okay, so maybe it was MEC.
Yeah, because I'll go there once in a while and I'll actually just buy a couple just to have as a snack. They're expensive.
Yeah, they were good.
They're so good. They're so good. Yeah, that's cool. So, what do you like right now? Obviously, it's hard water season, right? Being wintertime. What do you find yourself doing this time of the year?
Staring at maps, looking at maps on my computer. I'm actually going through my winter camping gear right now because a lot of people go winter camping. The long weekend, next weekend's Family Day weekend. So, excuse me. And I bought a new hot tent this year and a new wood-burning stove for the hot tent. And so I'm all excited. 2 weekends ago, I had a burn-in party, and my brother and his friend joined in, and I put my new stove out back, set it up, and burned it in to get rid of all the the oils and stuff from manufacturing, so it's ready to go.
Yeah. And
boy, I'm glad I did because it stunk real bad.
Yeah. Actually, Kevin Callan just did a video on that not too long ago, did he not?
Oh yeah.
Or I watched one of his videos on it, and he burned it outside. Yeah, during the ice storm that they had up there not too long ago. So. Yeah, you got to burn them off, man, because you don't want to do that in your tent. I think it'll put you right on your behind, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I just planning trips. I'm gonna probably do a big solo trip this year. I haven't been solo in 2 years, and I'm really starting to go crazy. Like every once in a while, I just start to go bonkers. It's like I gotta go solo. And the girlfriend, she doesn't get it. She thinks I'm trying to run away from her. I'm like, no, I'm trying to run away from everyone. I just want to be by myself. She doesn't understand, right? So, but I got to go solo this year. I got my canoe repainted. Mm-hmm. I got my favorite solo. It's a 15-foot Langford Prospector, and it's got the kneeling thwart just behind the yoke there. Yeah, there's just enough room. It's a beautiful canoe to paddle in such rough water. It's a real pleasure to control. So. Mm-hmm. Really looking forward to that. I'll probably do that hopefully in September. So
I noticed in the first season there of Mark in the Park that you're paddling obviously Swift canoes because they're probably supplied to you by Algonquin Outfitters, or
yeah, actually the red one was supplied by Algonquin Outfitters and the green one was actually mine. I bought it used from Algonquin Outfitters. So we just needed an extra canoe for some of the crew. So, yeah.
Well, we'll get into the show there in a few minutes here. But so, what experience your dad took you out to? A couple of canoe trips in Algonquin. Any interesting stories from back when you were young and paddling Algonquin for first or second time?
Yeah, actually, I have searched high and low. My father, he's been gone now for 15 years, so I'll never know where he took me initially. But I have searched high and low in the park, and I just can't, for the life of me, figure where he took me. So, although I remember the first time in modern times, if you will, when I went on to Cache Lake, it looked very familiar. So I wonder if maybe he brought me through Cache Lake when I was a child. But I do remember one time we were camped, and he says, let's go for a walk in the bush. We went through a walk, and we found an area that had been logged a few years earlier, and he started picking raspberries. And we had some milk and some sugar, and he brought it back to camp, and he mixed up berries for me in a bowl and with some milk and sugar, and he says, try this, have some nature's dessert. And I ate it. It was like the best dessert I ever had. Yeah, it was really amazing. Another time I remember he took me to Driftwood Provincial Park, which is on the Ottawa River, just past the north end of Algonquin Park. And I remember we were doing some boating around there, so that was really neat. It wasn't canoeing, it was boating. It was a pontoon boat that you would pump up with a foot pump, and you'd insert wooden board panels that would be the bottom of your hull, and the rest of it was just all that blow up type of pontoon boat. So another summer, he threw me in the back of a van, and we drove all over Ontario. We drove up to Georgian Bay, into Algonquin, up to Timmins, all over like central Ontario. We just spent like 6 weeks going from provincial park to provincial park, and that was amazing. I think that's when I really started to fall in love with the outdoors, and I will always thank him for that.
And that's the one thing that this whole canoeing thing can do to you, you know, where if you take your kids out, you know, you're creating these memories.
Yeah.
Right. Like you say that your dad's not with you anymore. And, you know, you've always had these memories that you can cherish. And yeah. And now you've just shared it with, you know, millions of people across, 40 people on the internet here. So that's awesome, man. That's good stuff. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Mark in the Park. How you mentioned that Jeff kind of brought you into that light a little bit there, or how did the whole Mark in the Park, hey, we want to do a show with you in it, happen?
I actually got an email from Matt Hahn. He's the producer of the show. And he was asking me if I would be interested in doing a show. Apparently he had emailed another personality. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention that person or not, so I'll just won't mention that person.
Okay.
And they never got a reply back. So apparently Matt, my producer, his girlfriend was apparently a fan of my writing. And I said, why don't you contact Mark in the Park and ask him? So he contacted me, and hello, Crazy Ann. And I see in the comments there. What was I saying? And yeah, he contacted me, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Let's do a show together. And it was to help promote my website and my guiding, as well as to promote his business with filmmaking, as well as promoting Ontario parks, especially Algonquin Provincial Park, obviously. So,
yeah. So, like, season 2 is coming up, and I know we can't really get into too much because you want people to watch the show, but essentially, so that season 2 was obviously shot this past summer.
It was shot again in September.
How long was it stretch, over a week trip type of deal?
It was 10 days. We shot again in September. I have like a cheat sheet here from the producer, what I can and cannot tell everyone at this point, but it was in the north end of the park again, but I can't tell you which access point it was. Last year's trip was more about the beauty of the park. This year's trip was more about the pain.
The pain. Hey, my gosh, because last season looked pretty painful. Like when you're beating your way through them alder bushes, I felt your pain.
Yeah, well, this is a little more interesting this time around. Yeah, you watch it, check it out. I think you'll like it. I've seen some early edits of the promos, and I was kind of excited on the edge of my seat watching it. That's all I can tell you.
Right.
It was really interesting. What else can I tell you about this here? We had rain and wind.
Yeah.
We heard some mechanical noises. Logging trucks off in the distance, planes. But yeah, I don't know if I can really tell you much of anything else at this point. So.
I don't want too many teasers. Like I say, I'm looking forward to watching. Unfortunately, I'm not a subscriber to Rogers Television, but I'll have to wait for him to be posted on YouTube here, so that I can actually watch the episodes, unless somebody could download a torrent of it or something like that. But you didn't hear that here.
I've been told that the editing is going well, and possibly the show will be released on Rogers a little earlier than last year, like possibly the beginning of March. So that's just a month away. And usually when they get released on Rogers, that particular episode would be broadcast usually within 2 to 3 weeks after the fact on YouTube. So if you don't have Rogers, you just got to wait 2 or 3 weeks, and then it'll be on YouTube.
There you go. So everybody, that's where you're going to be able to watch it is on Roger or on YouTube.
It'll be on Rogers TV in Ottawa and Rogers TV in Barrie.
Okay.
So I just saw that, and somebody was asking what my favorite.
Ethan from Avid Outdoorsy guy was asking what your favorite lake or campsite in the park is.
Well, my favorite campsite's up on Maple Lake. Anybody who knows me knows that that's where it is. It's a beautiful campsite. It's on a double island. It's the south end of Maple Lake. It's got like rock about 8 or 9 feet above the water, and it's got great vistas. It's got really good acoustics. The sound just bounces around the lake. And off to one side, you're very close to shore. There's a bit of a marsh there, and there's usually moose there. It's a really nice area of the park I like, because I find that Maple Lake is usually a transit lake for most people. Mm-hmm. They'll be paddling through it either through a Rabba Lake or coming through 3 Mile. And most people don't stay on Maple. And if they do, they stay at the north end of the lake where you won't see or hear them. So I kind of enjoy that. My favorite lake, again, it's Maple Lake probably, with the campsite on it. But my other favorite lakes are like Manitou Lake, Cedar Lake, and I would have to, I know there's going to be some eyebrows raised at this, but I would have to say Opeongo. Now, I really like Opeongo. It's a very unique lake. It's the largest lake in the park. But unfortunately, if you're not a fan of motorboats like I am, it sucks, because there are motorboats on that lake.
Right.
But every few years, I'll go and I'll camp on Lake Opeongo. And, it's been many years since I've been here, and I wonder why. And then after about an hour or two, you suddenly realize why you haven't been back in so long, because the motorboats are droning by all the time. But the thing is Opeongo in itself is a very beautiful lake. And if it didn't have motorboats on it, it would be up there in my top 5 lakes in the park. It's a stunningly large and very beautiful lake. You almost feel like you're on a Great Lake when you're on that lake.
Wow. That's good. But I'm sure if you find yourself a nice little nestled nook somewhere, like a little bay or something, you can get off the beaten path, right?
Yeah. Excuse me 1 sec.
Yep. And just like that, he was gone.
Got an impatient cat.
Jay Black is asking, same other 2 guys? I'd assume he's asking about the cameraman and the producer that you had in season 1. Is it going to be the same 2 fellas?
Oh, I'm looking at my cheat sheet here. I know, it's annoying.
Maybe. Yeah.
I brought a newbie into the backcountry with me this trip.
Cool.
So, he had never been interior camping before. He's been car camping. So I took him in and was showing him the ropes to backcountry camping in Algonquin Park.
Right.
But no, it's not the same 2 people. There is someone new. So
cool. Okay, you'll have to watch it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just like Survivor, we can't give away the end. For anybody that has a question for Mark or myself, please just make sure you put the word question ahead of your question in capital letters. Makes it more easy for me to identify, just like Jay Black did here. He actually put it in question in capital letters. So that's awesome. Thanks very much. Just wanted to say hi to a couple of my buddies on here, Mark Ingo, who's one of the fellows in Kid Products, and Keith is also on. I believe that's Kayak Tomato. They're the couple of guys I went winter camping with this weekend. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Much appreciated. And of course, all my regulars like Daniel and Camper 69 and Plain Old Chuck and Crazy Ann and a whole bunch of you. I appreciate you all popping in tonight to meet Mark Rubino. So let's get into last season, because I had not a lot of questions, because you guys really answered a lot at the end of the episodes where you were talking about the question and answer period between you and I guess the producer, right? But
Todd.
Yeah.
Todd, like the talking by the campfire bits.
Yeah. I kind of enjoyed that at the end of each episode. It really give a lot more insight to you answered a lot of the questions in those videos as to like questions I'm asking you now, right? So
Mhm.
for anybody that would watch you, they'd probably be getting some of the same answers they're getting now. But like when you guys were at the cabin, say for instance, you mentioned that you had been there a bunch of years ago,
Mhm.
or that whole trip was based on like you had been to so many of them areas like 15 years ago or something.
That's right. Yeah.
How much has it really changed over that period of time? Like I know that the floor is going to change, obviously, right? Like the whole canopy is going to change, but like,
Well, it has like some campsites change, other ones don't. But like the route itself was quite different. Number one is the first time, and I had done it before. Actually, was the only time. Was in the month of May, so the alders hadn't really even grown in yet. And when we did the TV show, it was the month of September. So the creek took on a very different characteristic. Everything was grown in. The creek was completely overgrown. And even behind the cabin, when we were walking around, it was very, very bushy. Where when I walked through there in May, it was great. You could see everything, right? So, and there were no moose at all to be seen. When I went there in the month of May, there was moose all over that lake in the month of May. There was moose here, there, and everywhere. It was silly.
Yeah.
Very different.
So that cabin, like based on what you were talking about in the show, it's quite the historic place, and it looked like a really, really neat cabin to
It is a nice cabin to get to, yeah. Because it takes 2 days to get there. You know, it's not difficult to get. Well, I mean, I forgot about Birchcliff Creek there. You know,
yeah.
If you remove Birchcliff Creek, you could get there no problem. But unfortunately, the Birchcliff Creek's in the way. Most people would normally go by via Lauren Creek or Logren Creek, however you pronounce that, and go up into Lauren Harris Lake and J.E.H. McDonald's Lake, and down into Calm Lake, and then into Birchcliff that way. That way you're not going against the current, and I don't think it's as difficult to go on that creek as well. So, but the cabin did change a little bit. There was a few more paintings. The sink, there's like an old style water pump. There's an old style water pump you'd pump into the sink because there used to be a hose that would come all the way up to the cabin. That was removed, and the sink was boarded, was nailed shut. So if you wanted water, you had to go for a long stroll down to the lake, and that was a bit of a pain. So other than that, the cabin was in good repair. The stove was in excellent shape because I remember the last time we were there and we complained about it to the people at the access point. Said, you know, this is what's going on. Somebody had thrown a bottle of mayo in the wood stove, and part of it melted the seal around the door of the stove, so it was no longer airtight. So, you know, told them to fix that, and obviously they did because it was in great shape when we were there.
Once again, people with no nuggets up there.
I remember the first time I was on Birchcliff Lake. You know how like I think this is a habit that a lot of canoeists will do is, you know, when you've made your home on a lake and you go out and explore, you like to check out all the other campsites on the lake that are vacant just to see what the possibilities are, whether you're there next time or a friend wants to drop by and says, you know, what's a good campsite on that lake? I like to check out all the campsites. So here I am on Birchcliff Lake. We go to this campsite, we check it out, and, you know, when was the last time somebody was here? Well, the easiest way to do is open up the Thunderbox and look. And I look in there, and there's a fuel canister. And I'm just like, really? I didn't think I would see that kind of people that deep in the park, but apparently you do sometimes still, right? And it really irks me to see that because as much as you'd like to clean it up, I'm not sticking my hand down there to take that home with me. So
funny you say that.
Highway 60 is bad for that. I'm sure everyone knows that. So
yeah, well, funny you say that because last year my ice out trip there when I did Smoke Lake to Banisher,
yeah.
Sherry, that's it. Yeah, not French enough, but I'm half French. But but yeah, you know, I go up there and you know, go to do the morning duty, and I open up the Thunder box, and there's like two wine bottles in there and a plastic bag.
Yeah.
And I know there's rules in Algonquin about bringing cans and bottles in, right?
Yeah.
And obviously for a good reason, right? But it's like, if you could pack it in full, why can't you carry that damn thing out empty?
I know.
You know? It comes right down there.
I
don't know.
I see crushed beer cans all the time. Like, are you kidding me? Do you know how light that is? Like,
Yeah. Like when I do my backcountry canoe trips, like, on Crown Land, me and my buddies, we'll bring our case of beer, or, if we have a young fellow to carry them for us, we'll bring 2 cases of beer, right? But we always come out with a bag full of empties.
yeah.
Always. You know what I mean? It may stink, it may be drippy, you rinse them out and you got water dripping, whatever.
Yeah.
Crush them and you pack them out. It's not very difficult, and we always end up carrying out more garbage than we take in. So
Have you ever been to Highview Cabin on the Nipissing?
no, I haven't.
Well, there's like all these old fields behind it because there's quite a huge logging camp back then. But if you go way back in the bush, last time we were there a few years ago, we found like flippers and snorkels and tires and jackets and fuel bottles all thrown into a pile way back in the bush. Like,
yeah. And how many lawn chair frames?
Snorkeling the river, and a vicious trout came up and bit his fins or flippers, and he had to throw them away. I don't know.
Yeah, and like I say, how many lawn chair frames are you always find them? I can't believe people. Oh man. Anyways, let's get a couple questions here. Tom Tesnius. By the way, Tom, I've seen you on Kevin's video. Very funny. Thank you. What other paddling destinations outside of Algonquin do you enjoy?
Woodland Caribou Provincial Park, up in northwestern Ontario. It's about 9 hours north of Thunder Bay. It's way up there. It's gold country up there. A lot of gold mines right outside Red Lake, Ontario. I've only been there twice, but both times I was there, we were on the water for like 15 or 16 days. So it was a really nice trip. I was supposed to go there again this year, but it's being postponed until next year. Mainly because I hope to be relocating a little closer to the park this year. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We're also by paddle. I paddled the Yukon River. That was nice. I think the first day in, we hit this huge lake called Lake Labarge, and wow, it was a really beautiful lake to paddle. And I actually enjoyed it more than I did the entire river trip. I love lake paddling. I don't know why, I just do. So.
Yeah. And obviously you're a conventional paddler. You like single blade, obviously, opposed to double blade.
I tried double blade for the very first time last year, courtesy of Algonquin Outfitters, and I don't see the appeal of it.
No?
Well,
I enjoy both.
What's that?
I'm on the fence. I enjoy both. I've got a 14-foot Prospector Packer boat, which is a dream to paddle with with a kayak blade. But when I did get back to paddling my big canoe trip last year in August, and having a single paddle or single bladed paddle is, I'll never give that up. But
yeah, I don't know, the single blade. I feel like I'm close, like I'm more connected. I'm closer to the water and more connected with nature. With the pack canoe with the double blade, I don't know. I felt like a tourist. I just didn't feel close with the water or anything. I didn't feel like I was a part of it. So
right,
that's my opinion.
Sorry.
Also, I got wet too, eh?
Yeah. Let's see here. I don't know if this here is a question you could answer, but Mass Canoe One is asking, will Matt be going with you? I'm not sure going with you where, but
Meanest Link. I don't think anyone's ever done the Meanest Link twice. Yeah, I might do it again next year. Would Matt be going with me? Oh wow, I think he should go. Yes, that's something worth filming for sure. The Meanest Link trip, that would be awesome. Well, actually, Kevin Callion did it a few years ago.
Him and Andy did it.
What's that?
How him and his buddy Andy did that trip a couple of years ago, right? So how long does it take to do that? I've never really caught how long it takes.
When I was there last year, some guys came through. They did it in 9 days. I think it was 9 days, or was it 8 days?
Yeah. There we go. Kevin's in the house, and he's a single blade man himself. So, how you doing, Kevin? Good to see you tonight. Let's see here.
It's definitely faster. I really was able to move around, but I'm like, it's not a race. I don't know. I felt confined, and I didn't feel like I had freedom like I do with a single blade. And that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to start any wars. So
I compare the double paddle more to being like a kayak. So if you enjoy kayaking, then well, you know what? Some people do, but I enjoyed the speed of and the stability of sitting really low. That's what I enjoy about my canoe. But you know what? You got those that like it, and you got those that might not, right? So it's a matter of preference, and I have both, so I'm doing well there. Ari Rosen is asking, have you ever been to Temagami? If so, where was your trip?
No, I haven't.
Unless you never paddled Temagami area? No.
My father took me there, and I didn't know what it was.
Right.
Other than that, no, I haven't.
Yeah.
I actually, there were inklings of season 2 before it actually happened that it might be in Temagami, and I was really looking forward to it. And then I was told it was going to be in Algonquin again, which I didn't have a problem with. So yeah, it ended up being in Algonquin. But yeah, one of these days I am going to get up to Temagami. I just haven't been there yet. So
yeah, it is a beautiful place, man. If you get the opportunity, go do it.
I know people keep yelling at me. Go there.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I find those that are devoted, like those that are Algonquin people, are Algonquin people, right? And then there's those that are like, Temagami's the place, and then those that are like Crown Land. You sometimes you don't get a lot of people that just they say, yeah, I'll go wherever, And that's where I'm at. I'll go wherever, right? So
the beauty about Algonquin is this size.
Yeah.
And even though it's, very popular to this day, if you plan it right, you can still go out there and have solitude and not see anybody for days and explore new areas that you've never seen and probably may never even go and visit again in your lifetime.
Right.
Like on a TV show, we went up through a route that I had never, ever laid eyes on before, and I probably will never again. So, I cross it off my list, but we didn't see anybody up there. It was great. So, I think that's the appeal to Algonquin is its fastness. And, it's possible that you can actually go in there and still not be bothered by your fellow paddlers. And I would say bothered loosely. It's like any community you're going to get the good and you're going to get the bad. I know that a lot of paddlers who paddled other areas of the park will, stay away from Highway 60 in the summer, and for a very good reason, because it's just too damn noisy, right?
So Mike Burns is in the house. How you doing, Mike? Good to see you. He's asking when the second season will be released. I know we touched on it earlier, but for anybody that may have come in here a little later, give a little bit of tidbit of approximately when it's going to be airing.
Hi, Mike. Hopefully beginning of March this year. It's going to be a little bit earlier. I've been told that the editing is going well, and it should come out early March.
Early March. So there you have it. Or you'll have to wait probably a couple more weeks if you don't have Rogers Television. So
what I'm trying to say is, if you don't have it, then you would have to wait for it on YouTube, probably about 2 to 3 weeks after the original release on Rogers. So, sorry, kiddos.
You'll have to get Rogers Television to syndicate this and get it across the board.
Yeah.
Right? You never know. There's a lot of people that have this interest, right? The things that we're doing here, right? So I'm surprised there's not more content on television that pertain to our stuff. Whether it's canoeing or backcountry backpacking or bushcraft skills or whatever, right? So
I don't know. Maybe because it's too low key for a lot of the people. It's not shock television anymore, which seems to be the order of the day these days on television. I don't really have I haven't had cable in about 6 or 7 years. So I have Netflix, and I have Ontario Film Board app on my my box upstairs. So it's great to watch stuff like that. But the actual cable TV shows that the rest of the world watches, I'm not into that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you're out there and you're actually shooting the video, is there a lot of, oh darn, I blew that shot, let's retake it, go walk through that mud bog again?
I
like that.
How much you're going to pay me? I'm not doing that again. Yeah, there was a few times
one scene you walked in the mud bog, right, and it looked like you sunk up to your knee, and you got out like after your struggle to get out, then you walked around a bit, and you walked right back into the same spot again.
Well, what I was doing is I was scouting the creek.
Okay.
Scouting ahead. And when I came back, I thought I went around the hole that I made.
Yeah.
I walked right back into it. Yeah. But that was the only way through. So I'm like, oops.
It almost made me spill my beer when I was watching that.
It wasn't intentional. But there have been a few retakes, yes. I guess I'm not supposed to say it, but yeah, I won't say anything. But there hasn't been really too many retakes. It's just all been on the fly. Like there really isn't any acting. I know there was acting in the last season when I was trying to do the knife scene with Todd. So you can tell I was acting there. It was pretty bad acting.
So Mass Canoe One saying, by the way, like your Jerry Garcia look.
Oh.
But definitely a different look from what you had on season 1 for sure, right?
Oh yeah, I got the old
hair going and the beard going.
The hair, Jeremiah Johnson.
Yeah. So Jenica Grimshaw is asking on that note, is there any way to watch the show if you don't have cable? And I think we touched on that there. You'll be able to see it on YouTube on subscribe to Rogers TV. Or just do a general search for Mark in the Park, and that'll get you all of Mark's last season's video.
I actually last year, and it might actually happen again this year. Rogers TV did have a live feed in the Ottawa region, and it was an Ottawa channel that rebroadcast the Rogers feed live on the web, so you could watch it live on the web. Yeah, I'll have to get that information, and I can post it back to you here, or I can post it on my Instagram account, which is Algonquin Marcus, and I can post it there, and you guys can, as the show gets closer, I'll post it up there. Usually, it was on Wednesday night, so I'm assuming it'll be on Wednesday nights again this year. So it was like 8 or 9 o'clock at night on a Wednesday, and then if you didn't have cable, there was a website in the Ottawa region that would rebroadcast it live, and you could watch it there. But, sometimes, live gets a bit choppy at times. So That's why I would say if you can't watch it, wait for the YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. And then you can watch it at your own pace that way too. Jay Black's question, while guiding, do you think you've ever planted the seed in others to continue on their own?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
I've fielded a lot of questions, and I was given a lot of answers. I've had a lot of people being interested in paddling solo. I've had a lot of people saying, I want to come back next year and I want you to guide us. I'm really looking forward to it. I find guiding very rewarding. It's a fun job. Sometimes it's challenging, you can meet people of all kinds, but overall, I love it. I'm out there all day. I get paid to paddle. I mean, life is grand. You get up in the morning, you have your coffee, it's shining, the mist is rising, and you go for a paddle. It's great. Yeah.
Cha-ching! No, you know what? And that's awesome. Obviously, it's a testimony to your knowledge of the park, and that you can actually take on these types of things and have people wanting you to take them for guiding. We were talking in the green room before, and you said you've already got a couple of trips already set up for the upcoming paddling season. So,
yeah,
and those are personal jobs, correct?
Yeah, those are personal jobs, and both of them are second time around trips. They went with me the first time last year, and both of them were like, "Oh, we want to go out with you again next year. Please take us somewhere else, like one of your favorite areas of the park." And I'm like, "Okay, we're going north." So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, what size parties will you cater to?
I don't want to go too big. Usually 6 people, but if if people, if there's 8 people and they really want to go together as a group, I'll take a group of 8 people in. But I've taken in a lot more people than that, and it gets crazy. It gets really crazy with a lot of people. But 6 to 8 people is what I like to deal with, and because I don't like to split up large groups, which you have to do when you're following the regulations of backcountry. You can only have a maximum of 9 people on a site. Right. I've been on sites with a lot more people than that, and it's crazy. Like the foot traffic is nuts, and the Thunderbox, oh my God, fills up in no time. So you can see why there's a limit right off the bat. But 6 to 8 people is probably the max that I would take.
And so, as a guide, what does one of your guide packages get a person, or is it just you got to bring your own food, or you take care of pretty much everything?
Take care of everything. All they have to do is just bring their own personal effects, like toothbrush, toothpaste, their clothing, sunglasses, cell phone, camera, stuff like that. Like I will fit them with everything from a life jacket to a paddle to a canoe, and all the food that they need. I'll give them headlamps. Like they don't need to really bring anything, just themselves, right? So I want everybody to come in and experience the ultimate experience in the park, and not have to worry about what do I need to bring, or do I have to buy this, or do I have to buy that? It's like, no, just bring yourself, and I can even share photos with you if you want, if you forget to bring your cell phone camera, right? So type of thing.
Yeah. So how much easier can it get than that, people? Where me like myself, when I do a trip there, my canoe trips, usually I'm the one doing all the planning. It was great going winter camping this weekend with my buddies because they took care of most of the planning, right? And it's not too often I get to enjoy that, because it always seems to fall on Dennis's shoulders where, I'll pick an area and then we all agree. And then it's like, I'll do the groceries and I got most of the gear, right? So it's kind of nice. Maybe I should be a guide. Double book. Give me a call, Mark.
Yeah, you either like it or you don't. I mean, I love it. So, I mean, I love to plan trips. It's my thing. I don't mind. But it's also nice to be catered to. I mean, I've met some people that just don't know, or just don't care, or just don't have the time or the inclination to do it. And they just rather have somebody else do it for them. And I love that. So I'll do it. We had a gathering the weekend after Thanksgiving. We call it the post-turkey gathering. And we were the last to arrive. And for once, I didn't have to collect any firewood. I didn't have to do this. It was kind of nice to be catered to in that respect. We just showed up and the fire was ready to go. And like, hey, this is nice. I feel like I'm on vacation. So it's rare, but it's a nice feeling. So I get that feeling, and I'd like to supply that feeling, give those memories to people that come up to the park and would partake in my services as a guide.
Yeah. I want to get into a few questions here because we're getting close to that 8 o'clock hour where I do my swag giveaway.
Sure.
And of course, my chat thing just went crazy on me here. Okay, we asked that one. Okay, the Temagami one we covered. Here's one here. There we go. Let's try this one here from Matthew Ligustino. If you saw a picture of some random lake in Algonquin and random lake in another backcountry Ontario park, could you tell the difference, or is it awesome? Is it all awesome boreal forest to you?
Well, I mean, if you were to show me a picture of Algonquin, not tell me it was Algonquin, I probably have a good idea that it was Algonquin. I participate in a lot of where in Algonquin is this, or where is this. But I mean, if you were to show like a picture of true boreal forest, and I think I'm setting myself up for something here.
Okay, wait a minute, Mark. Have a look here.
Yeah.
Where's that?
That looks like Algonquin Park.
Algonquin or not Algonquin?
It might not be. It could be Temagami.
No, it's not even Temagami. Yeah, that's a tough question because you know what? It's
it is a tough
where it is, right? That's actually up by Gogama area, so that's
I know, like
question.
Like being up in Woodland Caribou, the forest up there is very different. It's all jack pine. Like there's no white pine up there, at least that I saw. There's a lot of birch, Jack pine. There was some. What was there? There were some aspens, but like I didn't see any red or white pine at all. You know, it's all boreal forest, and a lot of Canadian shield in certain areas of that park too. It was just rock. Like there was no topsoil at all in some areas.
All the burn.
Very different topography altogether.
Yeah. Kind of with all that there, then, have you noticed any change over the years, how climate impacts your backpacking, especially during the winter?
Yeah. Well, I know from like a canoe perspective, the ice outs have, oddly, they've been getting longer and longer, like later and later in the year. This year, this particular winter, right now, I'm actually expecting there to be an early ice out this year because the temperatures this winter have been very mild.
Yeah.
And, you know, like the last 2 weeks of January is usually when we start to go into the deep freeze, and we haven't had that at all. And the last week or so, it's been like hovering around like -1, 0, +2. And it's not happening. It doesn't look like it's going to happen for the foreseeable future. So I know that, you know, the warmer it gets, it can be a little bit of an issue when you're hauling a toboggan loaded with gear. I know my friend Glenn went in one year and he was hauling it through mud.
Yeah.
It could have been snow, but there was mud. So,
and it's funny how quickly it changes, because 2 years ago we had that deep freeze. Where, you know, all the Great Lakes froze right over.
Yeah.
You know, I go to Lake Erie now because I'm fairly close to Lake Erie, and you can't see a chunk of ice floating anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's
actually
kind of weird.
Last year was weird too because I went up for the bass opener on Manitou Lake at the end of June, and I caught more trout than bass.
Right.
Because everything was a month behind. The water was still cold.
Yep.
And I'm just like, this is nuts. Like one of my friends, he caught almost a 5-pound trout in like 10 feet of water. It was like, this is like the end of June. And it wasn't until after that weekend that then the heat really started to turn on in June, but it was still really relatively cool. So I think climate change is definitely affecting in many different regards.
Yeah. And now, like we were talking earlier there, that I was trying to plan my ice out trip for, you know, with a couple guys, both of which are in the chat tonight. They're Avid Outdoorsy guy and Dan Schultz Outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we're trying to toy with, like, when is ice out going to be, right? Because I think you can't, I believe Dan said that you can't book any or make any reservations for interior camping until May 14th weekend or somewhere around that. But we know ice out's most likely going to be before that, just based on the temperatures right now, right?
Yeah, they might change that as the time approaches, as we get nearer to that date. But I think after last year's flip-flops that Ontario Parks did to us, they're probably like, just make it as late as you possibly can, right? So
sure.
I'm reading a question here.
Yeah, speaking of Avid Outdoorsy guy, he has a question for you. Do you think someday you'll start branching out to other provincial parks? Maybe do a season per park sort of thing?
Yeah, I would like, well, like I said, I'm going to go back to Woodland Caribou, but I would also like to go to Wabakimi.
Mm-hmm.
I hear that's quite the deserted place as well. So,
well, you might want to talk to Avid Outdoorsy guy because he wants to plan a trip up there. I heard him mentioning one time, so that'd be cool.
Yeah.
There we go. I see a collab coming here. And Uncle Kevin, yes, I said Uncle Kevin, asking, can you list some of your best guided clients you've taken into the park? And that's geared towards you because I've not taken anybody famous into the park.
Well, I'm not really sure how to answer that. I've taken in doctors, and actually they were a pretty good group to take in. I've taken in families, both Americans, Europeans, and Canadians.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, that Canadians are the best tippers out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Americans are second.
Canadians.
Yeah. Americans are fun to guide. They're a lot of fun as well. I would say the families or adult groups were probably the best adventurous to take out. They're a lot of fun. I've had some families that didn't fare so well, and I would think mainly it was the bugs. The bugs was it last year? The bugs were really bad in the beginning of July.
Mm-hmm.
I did take one family out, and they had a really hard time with it. And I think one of the children that was in the group didn't really want to be there. So we tried to make the best of it, but in the end, the kid wasn't too happy. But
And do you carry
home alive?
What's that? Do you carry like a one of those Eureka bug-free zone nets?
Yeah, we set that up, but there's not much you can do when you're walking down a portage.
This is true.
You're coming back to pick up whatever, and the kid drops a food barrel in the middle of the trail and just runs down to the end because the mosquitoes are eating him alive, and he's crying. It's like, okay, well, I'll get the barrel. Your mom's down the other end of the trail. Go to her, right? Just what else can I do, right? So, yeah,
you're gonna have to start selling Mark in the Park bug jackets. There you go.
Well, I would spray the kid down. Yeah, I could sell those, but I always carry a can of bug spray with me in my life jacket, so I would spray the kid down and say, "Off you go!" Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they just run anyways. They don't even stop for you. They're just the bugs were fierce in July, so. But can you tell us about one of your more challenging guided trips? Okay, here goes. I had this one father-son group, or pair, if you will, and they didn't do much. I tried to engage them. We get to camp, and I'm just going to say, I'm going to go out and collect some firewood. Would you like to learn how to collect firewood and start a fire? Oh, no, it's okay. And the one was a son, probably about 18 years old, and he just sat around the fire pit with his phone playing games on it all the time. And the father, he didn't do much. They actually didn't talk much to each other. I almost got the feeling that the mother said, "You two are going camping," like the bond or something, because they didn't do anything. They just didn't want to. It's like they didn't want to be there.
They didn't want to engage then, right? Yeah.
Mind you, they were very good on the portages. They did what I asked them to do, and they did it very well. Actually, I remember that trip because it was the first time I ever bumped canoes with someone. We were going down this steep, muddy hill, and some guy was coming up the steep, muddy hill. We bumped hulls together. He's like, sorry. I'm like, sorry. That never happened before. So
are most of your clients, are they newbies, or are they people that are just looking for a different experience?
I would say it's about 50-50. Some are newbies, and then other ones, they're like looking for a different experience. Some are very experienced, but they just had never been to Algonquin, and they just wanted somebody there that knew the area. And some, like, I remember this one group I brought in, they're like, you know what, you don't have to cook for us. We can do our own cooking. We just don't really know where we're going, and we'd appreciate, you guiding us around. No problem, right? Whatever fills your boots, right? So,
very good, very good. And I'm going to throw one more question up here before we get into doing our swag giveaway. And at the same time, I'm going to open up the panel here to anybody that might want to come in, that might have questions or want to chat with Mark. Just because I haven't put out any personal invites, and I just want to get a few new fresh faces on here. So if anybody wants to join in, I will put that up here. But right after I put up this last question from Brad Tuzzi, how would one go about getting into guiding?
Wow. Well, I lucked out. I was directed by someone to contact someone else who was looking for guides, and I contacted that person, and they knew somewhat of my background. They knew I'd been canoeing for many years, so they figured they'd give me a shot, and they were quite happy with it. And now I'm actually going into my third year. I would ask around, and it wouldn't hurt to just ask local outfitters, and you can always start there. Hoping you have some experience paddling as well if you are going to be into the guiding. That's a must. But if you don't, I'm sure there's probably courses that you can take, or whitewater safety courses as well. That would get you started. But I would actually just contact outfitters that surround any area that you would be interested in guiding. So, for example, if you're interested in guiding in Algonquin Park, contact the outfitters that surround that area. Like there's Algonquin Outfitters, there's Algonquin Bound, there's the Portage store on Canoe Lake. There's another outfitter up in Kearney that services access 2, 3, and 4. I can't remember their name off the top of my head, but I would contact them. Just send them an email and, you know, say, I'm interested in guiding. Are you looking for any guys this year? And here's my qualifications. And, you know, we can go from there and see what happens.
Cool. And one more thing before we actually get to the giveaway, I just put out the link there. If a couple of people want to join in on the panel here, jump in. Once I get 2 or 3 in the bottom there, I will close it off. But and maybe we could swap a few people in and out. Love to see some questions. But so, Mark, if somebody wants to attain your services as a guide, where might they find you?
Well, you can contact me by email at mark@markinthepark.com, or you can visit my website and contact me through there at markinthepark.com. That's www.markinthepark.com.
Let's put your website on the. There you go. Mark in the Park website is markinthepark.com. So you can get on there. You can get in contact with Mark if you're looking for some of his services. Maybe I don't know. I'm just going to put this out there and tell me to shut up if you want me to, but maybe he could help you plan a trip based on his vast knowledge there. He might have some tips and tricks that he can actually share with you. So by all means, get hooked up with Mark and get back there and see the backcountry. Algonquin is a beautiful place. If you get off the beaten path where there's nobody around, you know, maybe get a day in off the beaten path or 2 days in where you could see nobody. That's where the true solitude really begins. That's where the mind starts regenerating, I guess you could say, right? Like
it's a great place to recharge your batteries. So yeah,
for sure. So markinthepark.com, definitely check that out. This is the part of the show where I actually give away a few pieces of swag. So don't go anywhere, Mark. I'm just gonna put myself full screen, and I'll be back with you in a moment there. Hopefully we'll get a couple people popping into the stream. But tonight there, I just want to, I've got 2 prize packs I'm going to give away. Basically what they're going to consist of is just like usual, Canoehound Adventures decal pack. These here, you can put them on your bottles, lunchbox, granny's forehead, whatever you'd like to do with them. And a Canoehound Outdoor Adventure Show decal as well. And as a hidden bonus, last week I gave away a bunch of passes for the Outdoor Adventure Show that's taking place in Toronto on February 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. If you are a winner tonight and you are in the Toronto area or you know you could attend the show, make sure you let me know in the email when you email me your address so I could send the stuff out. I'd like to see the tickets going into somebody's hands that are actually going to be able to utilize the tickets and go to the show. If you can't, sorry everybody, phone. Anyways, if you can't use the tickets, reply in the chat that you can't use them, and maybe we'll select another person or 2 so I can get the tickets in the hands of people that are going. There'll be 2 tickets. So what I would like you to do, I want you to type into the stream, okay, into the chat with capital letters. So put your caps lock on, and just put the word park. And I've got pre-selected numbers here that we'll choose the winners from. So put the word park in capital letters, and let's see who is going to win the cool prizes. I don't see anybody putting park in. We'll let that all populate right now. And I'm going to get Mark in, and I'm going to repost. Oh, here we go. We got a bunch of parks coming up now. So I'm going to... Oh, this is really funny here. Okay. Keep them going, people. Sorry, I'm just counting and writing right now. So keep them coming. Keep them coming. Let's do some 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keep them coming, people. Keep them coming. Got to get to one of my numbers here. I think next person's going to get one here. All righty. Okay, so we got, let's see here. So I scribbled beside, but anyways, I had number 2, Now, this is according to my chat, the way my chat actually come in. Number 2 and number 13. So number 2 is Christina Niegarth, and number 13 is Tom Tesnius. So basically, you've both won the decal packs and 2 tickets to the Outdoor Adventure Show in Toronto. You can email me your mailing address to canoehound@gmail.com, and I will get them out to you next week when I get back from vacation. I've got the tickets and I've got the decals, but they will go into the mail once I get back from vacation. So, and for those of you that are new in the chat, there will not be a show next week. We will return on the 18th of February. So keep that in mind. So I see we don't have anybody in the basement there that's coming in. So if anybody wants to join into the live stream, once again, here is the link. And I'm posting that here right next to Canoehound Adventures in the chat. If anybody wants to join in tonight, feel free to jump up. Maybe Stein North might want to pop in. That would be great. He's a regular. So that was painful, wasn't it, Mark? That's you know what? I think almost most of the people in here actually have cheers to you.
Cheers.
Cheers to you. Most of the people in here already have my swag, so that's a good thing. So, but yeah, let's see here. So we do have somebody in now. This is a good friend that's always sort of a regular on the show.
I remember you. Hey,
hey Mark, good to see you.
hey, good to see you.
Now
too.
this is a couple times I got to visit with Mark a little bit.
Cool.
I'm amazed nobody wanted to jump in here. I'm amazed nobody wanted to jump in here and chat, especially with Mark. I mean, I think it's awesome that you're a guide to start with. Anybody that guides anything into the outdoors, I'm all for them, man. I'm all for them. And paddling, awesome. And I liked your story about the father and son. I had clients. I had a wilderness skills camp, and I had clients that would come, father and son team kind of thing. And, oh, look there. Yeah.
Mark is the king of micro bottles.
Micro bottles. I had a buddy, Mark, that he marketed all those little micro bottles to the airlines back in the 70s. Wow. And he drove around in this, he had this big van. He lived in the dang van because he's traveling all over the country to all these different airlines and trying to sell his micro bottles, get big contracts on. And every time he'd come through town, he'd call me up because we both scuba dove. So he'd want to go scuba diving with me. And anytime he'd call me, I'm right there because I'd come home with a duffel bag full of micro bottles.
Oh, wow.
Because the inside of that van was just rails and rails, just packed tight full of those micro bottles. Help yourself, Stein. Go ahead. So there was a time when I really loved them.
For the airlines or something, eh? And he's the guy that stocks the little drink carts that go up and down the aisle in the plane.
Yep.
That's all right. So that's cool. So
one for the Flyers, one for me.
Right.
But yeah, when you were talking about when you're taking clients out, and I had one client where it was a father and daughter, mm-hmm. and I'm teaching primitive skills, right? That father did not like the daughter when they left the camp.
Really?
She could beat him on anything.
Yeah.
Every method of fire making, shelter construction, everything. She outdid the old man. And by the end of a week, he was just, most evenings, he just sat and pouted at the campfire. And she's bragging about everything she accomplished today. And they would try to get me in the middle. And I was just like, no.
Yeah.
No.
It was a weird feeling. Like I tried to engage both of them either separately or together, and they just didn't really seem to be interested. They didn't want to learn how to cook. They didn't want to learn how to get a fire going. They didn't want to learn about tent site placement. Did you want to go for a paddle? Do you want to fish? No. I'm just like,
why?
I actually thought to myself, like, why are you guys out here? Like,
why even there?
And like, I It's the very first time in my life I ever said to myself, like, God, I can't wait till this trip's over.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I was gonna say,
It really was.
you must have been thinking, how long was that? A full week?
I'm trying to think, where did we go? Burn Island Lake, Sunbeam Lake. I think it was 2 nights, 2 or 3 nights. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I was just, I found I'm not ashamed to say it, but I was surprised at myself, thinking like, what, can't wait for this trip to be over, because it was a real downer of a trip. And then the weather was fine. That's what I don't get about it. I mean, it rained the first night, but I had a nice fire going, had the tarp up. They sat under it. They were out of the rain. They're cooking dinner for them. The next day was beautiful. Actually, the next 2 days were beautiful, but they just didn't really want to be there. And if somebody doesn't want to do something, there's nothing you can do to change their mind. It's like trying to get somebody to quit smoking. They're not going to quit smoking till they want to quit smoking, right?
exactly.
They don't want to be there. They don't want to be there.
That's
So,
it.
try as I
That's
might, it was doomed to fail. But I mean, what can you do?
My clients used to get really upset with me because that was part of their camp contract to come and stay in camp, and our basic skills camp was a week long, and no, all cell phones were checked at the office.
Yeah, well, you didn't like that, eh?
And they were well aware of that way before they signed the contract. So,
Hi, Brad.
Brad.
How you doing, Brad?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Just one
Good.
thing before we get you in here. Do you have your volume on YouTube shut down?
I do.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Just gets rid of that feedback. That's
Yeah,
fine.
the echoing and whatnot. Yeah.
Welcome to the panel. How you doing tonight?
Great, man. How are you guys? First time on anything like this, but always watching your channel and following along.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah.
Always good to meet another bearded brother.
Yes,
look
thank you. Yeah.
Are you
Heading
proud?
towards that. Yeah.
Double there.
Yeah. Dennis has been working on it, but you gotta get rid of that before you head to the Dominican, don't you?
It's coming off in the morning. Yes. Coming off in the morning. And I asked the wife, I said, do you think I should keep that for the trip? She says, well, it's up to you, but if you shave it after, you're going to have funny tan lines. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's one thing. You grow one and then you shave it off and you're going, oh man, I gotta wear a sock down over my eyes and sit it out in the sun for 3 days.
Yeah.
Just reading the comment. That's hilarious. He does look like ZZ Top.
Yeah.
Do I get that all the time.
Yeah.
Cheap sunglasses. Yeah, I tell you what, I'm cheap.
Well, you have to. Well, we lost Brad there. We lost Brad. Don't go away, Brad. Come on up, buddy. Yeah. So I don't know if I know Kevin is going to be joining panel on another show at 9 o'clock from Rain Dance Bushcraft, which is about the time that we're going to be shutting her down tonight. So if you want to see Kevin Callan talking about some winter camping, there we go. Look at this. Evan, actually, that's a good bourbon.
It's been so long. It's been almost a month now. So
yeah.
But I don't have
so
handy. So
check that out later. Oh, look at this.
I don't have micros.
No.
So sorry.
Sty does it the right way.
Excuse me for being uncouth and drinking right out of the bottle.
He doesn't mess around.
I'm a little more discreet with my cup here, but once again, thanks to Nate Skoka here for the can of Lake of Bays. It's a nice switchback. So nice Pilsner. It's a very good beer. Thank you. Yeah,
I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. That's pretty darn tasty.
There you go. Look at you. You've created a monster, Mark.
No, I'm going to behave. I'm going to reel the monster in tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, geez. What happened to Brad? We lost Brad. I was hoping
we lost Brad.
We traded Brad for.
Oh no! Oh, there goes the neighborhood.
Oh,
there goes the neighborhood.
You got some splaining to do, Lucy.
It's a whirlwind tonight. I'm doing that thing that you said at 9, but then I also have some other things. I'm on a podcast, and it's like, but Mark, hugs and kisses. Next time you actually see me at a show and I'm talking to Sean, push him aside.
Oh, okay.
Just
get out of the
No.
way.
my Lord, man. No, Mark. So we got you. There are lots of questions. You're an amazing person. Done amazing things. You know Algonquin really well. Love your stuff. So the meanest link. You won't do it again. I won't do it again as well. Tell everybody the worst part of it.
Oh, going from Hood Lake to McCraney Lake, I think is probably the worst. Going up that hill is just. Was it muddy when you went through there?
No, it was just lots of deer flies and uphill, and the portage wasn't there. I mean, now there's a portage, right? So
yeah.
But there was no portage. So we just compassed it up the hill.
Yeah.
I also had some issues where, like, Andy was like, "Where are you taking me? Like, what's going on?" And I said, "I gave you all the information," but he goes, "I didn't look at it." And at that point, he was like, "Why are we doing this?" And for good reason.
Yeah.
That's a good comment. He also did not like the Nipissing River at all, and I love it. And
really?
that was an issue too. So I don't know if you like the Nipissing. The looking at your first series too, the Birch Cliff Creek and the cabin, it's all water dependent, right? That's the problem.
Yeah, I like the Nipissing. The beginning, once you get into the alders, that sucks. But once you get past there, it's beautiful.
Yeah. And that broke it for him too. Once we got past the alders and saw the big pine and everything else, everything was fine. But before that, it wasn't until we got past the cabin. So.
Can I just tell you something? I can't remember. Like, I've read a number of your books, and I can't remember what book it was. But there's a picture of you with your back to that leaning pine on the Shangri-La campsite on Catfish Lake.
Yeah.
That pine's gone now. It's fallen over.
No.
Yeah.
See, you should have never leaned on it, Kevin. It's all Kevin's fault. He leaned on that tree.
The wind blew it over. Finally.
No, it was Kevin.
It was on shore beside the campsite with its intact root system exposed. So I think it just lost a grip on the rock, and the wind and gravity finally took it down.
So that must have happened like 3 years ago then, because I saw it. Wow, when did that happen? Oh my God!
I was there in September last year, and I can't remember. I was there like maybe 3 or 4 years before that, and it was still there. So, but last year it was not there. It had fallen.
Yeah, that was the thing. Last time I was there, and you know, I just found out Jeff Taylor. I think his last name is Taylor, but Jeff, the guy that wrote the book about Thompson, he's going back there because supposedly he thinks there's a big lumber burial ground there on that island.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's doing it. I think that might be in his next book. He actually thinks that's where they're all buried on that island, right by that tree. Maybe that's why the tree fell. Maybe there were so many dead people on the island, it just fell over.
Well, that's all rock, though. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
This is our
it's a good point. I don't know. It was intriguing. I was talking to him, and yeah, good luck for him to find that out. So I love Catfish Lake.
Yeah.
And I got to say, the last time I was there, it was just trashed. I don't know camping there, but
yeah, I was there probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and I was on one of the sites at the north end of the lake, and it was trash, just like you said. It was horrible.
Yeah, but who's going there? Because to get in there is not easy, right? So
I don't know.
From Dan, that's not good news.
I was on the site just below the alligator, just below it, and on an island. And there was nothing but live wood that had been used as firewood, and it was, of course, not burned very well.
Yeah, and poop.
Bits of garbage all over the site and down by the shore. Trees have been chopped at, and I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, no, there's poop everywhere. I don't know who's going through there to do that because Mind you, it's got really good lake trout fishing. Boy, I remember cleaning a lake trout at night with my headlight, and then catfish coming up and eating the leftovers, and that was really cool.
Wow. Yeah, but there's like a lot of landmarks in the park, like that tree. Was a good landmark. I mean, everybody recognized it, and it kind of added a bit of whatever to that lake, to that site.
Yeah.
And, trees come and go, right? So that's too bad.
Well,
there you go. There's another beauty part of this whole canoeing community, and especially in the Algonquin area. So many people have done it that it's amazing that you could talk about a particular story, a particular tree, in such a vast wilderness. And one guy says it's fallen down, and the other guy's disappointed about it, right? It's
Well, it's interesting though. You guys were talking about how, like, Mark, you can identify a site, and my girlfriend partner Christine, she just had this epiphany the one day. She goes, "You seriously can look at a photo and know exactly where that is in the north. You know where that rock is and tree is. Where'd you get that from?" I go, "I don't know. I have no idea." But she is right. I have a gift. I can look at something. I went, "Yeah, that's so and so." And but that tree being down off that island, I think that's why that really hits us, is that because the idea of going to that lake, it's a great lake, but that one tree on the island is just this epiphany, right? So
yeah, it added some character to that island for sure.
Do you know the story about the big anchor being drawn out of is it Burnt Root or Burnt Island? I always get them mixed up.
Burnt Root Lake.
Yeah, so you know that story? What?
Tell me the story.
Feeling it?
Well, because when I was there a few years back, the anchor wasn't there, and I was like, "What happened to the anchor?" And it was Jake at Cedar Lake that told me the whole story. So I guess some youth group, the leader, had told the guys to challenge themselves. They had to haul that anchor out back to the access point, and they did. And then the park said, "You can't do that. Put it back." So I wonder if they put it back or not. Do you know that?
It's there.
Okay, so they did it. So that was their payback. They didn't get a fine, I think, but they just said, "Well, you shouldn't have done that." It's in the story.
Yeah, that's
we get a lot of that in my region. People find artifacts of sorts, pieces of old shipwrecks and the like on Lake Superior, and then they'll haul it out. And that's what they do here. Forest Service tells them, "Sorry, guys, you get to haul it straight back and put it right back where you found it."
No, wait! I just saw that Tom was here.
Hey, Tom, don't go away, buddy.
Tom was here,
Don't be shy.
and now he's gone.
Well, yeah, you know what? It's funny too that you're talking about the anchor, because Ethan here from Avid Outdoorsy Guy, we were talking about that the other day as we were planning our ice out trip.
Yeah, I said I wanted to see it.
Yeah.
I haven't actually been on route before.
I'm going to try and bring up a photo here of it in a minute. I was there in September.
Rick.
That's not
Hey,
Tom.
Rick.
Hey, Marcus. Hey, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. I like the picture behind you. That's Tom.
It is.
Yeah, nice.
Seemed an appropriate place to sit.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go.
And I had
Well,
to add
connection there. How do you guys know each other?
Marcus and I, we've camped a lot over the years.
Yeah.
Going winter camping next weekend with him.
Oh, cool. Very
Yeah.
good. Yeah, he was telling me about that. Sounds like exciting times.
And Kevin Callan here was the first one that got me into winter camping. Taught me everything I know.
That's scary.
Hey, Kevin, tell Marcus that a pee bottle is a good idea.
No, you guys are sickos.
Okay, people in the chat, if a pee bottle is a good idea, type a number 1. Let's see what the consensus is.
I think it's gross. I think it's
Hey,
gross.
man, get up and go for a walk at night.
No, I
Yeah.
personally have
Hey, in the
not.
middle of the night, it's a hot
Oh,
water
yeah.
bottle.
No, my
Disgusting.
Andrew,
Pea bottle for winter camping. Summer camping,
Absolutely.
no need. Winter camping, well, hammock camping, they come in handy. But
Hammock camping, if you're a guy, you can just unzip the hammock if it's a screen hammock and like lean. You're
See,
fine.
I get out of both sides of my hammock, so I don't want to pee all over my landing zone. You know? Kevin, you don't want to hear about it. You don't know. No, we're on the pee topic. I don't want to hear about it.
No, it's just
In a hot tent, you just roll over and pee through the bows.
Yeah.
How do we get to this?
There's a one. There's a one. We got a double one coming up here. And we also have a 0. No.
Nah, 0. Blech.
Another
A
0.
funnel off the tent. You're talking,
One.
Mark, earlier about the remote cabin. Now, I was surprised up in northwestern Montana in the Yak. There's areas where they have basically they just consider them stopover cabins, and they're supplied medical supplies, a little bit of food and the like. But you're supposed to either leave a little cash behind for what you use, or come back and replace it later. But those little remote trapping cabins, I stayed in a few of them, and almost all of them had a garden hose. They knocked a hole through the chinking between the logs, garden hose between the logs with a funnel stuck in it. Yeah, almost every one of them cabins had one of them. Yeah, why go out there in the middle of the night if you don't have to?
Well, I still do though. So it's my buddy Andy that doesn't, and I don't know if he has issues with his bladder, but it helps us winter camping because he does get out and then stoke the stove. On the Venus Link though, the bugs were so bad that year, especially on the Nipissing, and I was so glad I found a spare water bottle on the portage, and I said, "That's your pee bottle." So he used it through the whole trip, and then since then, that has to be like 6 years ago now. My daughter and I and him play this game where we will put the pee ball at his house, and then he'll put it somewhere in my house, and I'll find it, and he'll put it. We do back and forth, and it still has the urine in it from 6 years ago.
Oh, musical
God,
pee
nasty.
bottle.
Oh,
Yeah.
gross Canadian.
The elf on the shelf, eh, Kevin?
Well, you could probably make a good cedar or vinegar whiskey out of that urine in that bottle. I think probably.
Good. I would question the good part of that statement. Yeah. You could probably make a whiskey out of it, but good? I don't know.
All right, this is turning into too much Bear Grylls. This is enough.
Yeah, it's
really.
getting there, isn't it?
So Mark. So all the guided trips you've gone in Algonquin Park, what was the funniest practical joke someone has played or you played on your clients?
Oh, I don't do that.
Oh, come on.
No, we don't do that.
What?
I don't know. Are you looking at Rick on that one?
Why? I'm a nice guy.
Okay, so Rick, Mark is just being professional here.
You are
Rick,
a nice guy.
have you played a practical joke on any of your paddling partners?
Who you asking?
Rick.
Rick. Okay.
Yeah.
He's searching, thinking.
Sorry, I don't hear the question.
Oh, don't
I
you?
don't hear anything Kevin says.
Okay. Kevin's asking if you do you play any jokes on your paddling partners? What's the best joke you've played? Because Mark won't answer.
Play any jokes? Well, I do warn everybody not to drink from the yellow Nalgene. But no, I'm not much of a practical joker when I'm out there.
No.
Y'all
Sorry.
are boring.
Avid outdoors guy. Like, how about you?
What was that?
Oh, I don't know. If I played any jokes, it's probably not appropriate to say over YouTube because it was probably with Joe. It was probably something really crude.
There's a sneak peek for you, Ethan.
Oh, that's cool. I can't believe they carried that all the way to the access point. Oh my god.
And then have to carry it back.
Oh, that sucks. That's a good enough punishment. They didn't need to be fined. That's like, okay. That's brutal.
Just bring
Or
your
did
buddy
they-
Tony. He could carry it for you.
Yeah, no kidding. That dude's a beast.
Right?
They
What
pull
is that from? Well, I don't really know the story of what that is from, why it's there.
Well, Mark, you can answer that better than I.
Well, I believe that's from the alligator that's down in the southwestern corner of the lake.
Oh, that weird boat thing that was.
Yeah, I don't know why it was left there, but if you go to that, you will not find an anchor at that site. So I have to assume that that's where it came from.
Wasn't it some kind of steamboat? Is that what it was?
Yeah, it hauls log booms over the water. Apparently, it has the ability to winch itself overland as well, so it can go from lake to lake.
Oh.
Yeah, pretty neat, eh?
Yeah.
And there was a nicely graded fire pit. Got some other pictures back here. Yeah, so that's the first one there.
Cool.
Yeah.
So had they packed out that pulley along with the anchor when they hauled them out to the trailhead?
I wouldn't, like, if somebody told me to carry that out, I'm like, you can, not me.
Yeah, I'll watch. Yeah,
I'll watch. Yes,
yeah,
I think back in the day, they were probably a lot.
I'll kick sticks out of your path.
No. I want a titanium anchor. They remind us cast iron.
That's heavy. Yeah, I wouldn't.
I noticed that anchor looked like one lobe's missing off of it.
Carry that.
Looks like there's a lobe missing off of it.
So Rick said he had to drop out there. He's having some audio problems. So thanks for popping in, Rick. Appreciate it, though.
Yeah, it was great seeing Rick.
Hey, Mark, have you seen the grave site going out of Cedar down the Petawawa? No, not Cedar. Sorry.
Cross, that Corbeil cross? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, what's the logging grave site going out? Oh my God, it's my favorite lake. Not the Cedar going down the Petawawa. It's the one with a bunch of sand beaches.
What, Radiant Lake?
Yes. Because the last time I was there, I couldn't find it either. Like,
we were there in September. We couldn't find it.
Yeah, like what would the forest just take it away or what? Like that was weird.
I don't know. Like we found like a bunch of stones arranged in a little pile, but we didn't see anything. I found the old cedar pointer boat. Did you see that?
Yeah. I just couldn't find the grave. Yeah, Radiant Lake is amazing though. I don't know if you spent a lot of time there, but it's just I just love that place.
Yeah, I was there in September. I've been there a number of times. It's a pretty lake. There was a lot of logging noise in the area when we were there.
Yeah,
but I'll tell you a little story. When we were there, this was a rest day on the lake, and I'm sitting on the beach in the sun, just relaxing, and all of a sudden, whoosh, boom! About 20 yards away in the water, something like a meteor went right in the water. I'm like, what the hell is that? It was an osprey. It dove in and grabbed a bass and flew away with it in its talons. It was amazing, but it just came out of the trees. I guess it must have been sitting up in the red pines and just went.
Yeah.
It dove like a meteor right into the water. It just scared the crap out of me. What the hell was that? And then you see it flying away, and you're like, wow.
I'd always laugh at my dad when I went fishing with him, and that would happen with us. And he goes, "That fish or that bird just took one fish we couldn't catch."
Well, I'll tell you guys what.
That way, eh?
If you want to go dig through my 140 past dive stories, there's one in there that when my grandfather hooked a loon in northern Minnesota. And my dad was a chief of police, and my grandfather managed to finally reel that big ass loon up next to the boat, and he grabs the oar out of it. It was a big old wooden 18-foot boat, and he grabbed the oar out of there, and he's going to beat the loon to get his lure back. And my dad screaming at my grandpa, "Don't you hit that loon. It's the state bird, you moron." And I was just a little kid. And I seen the beak on that loon, and I'm going, "Grandpa, you're going to lose your eyes, man." I mean, that people don't realize how big a dang loon is until
they are surprisingly big birds. Yeah.
You get that bugger next to you, and you're going, "That's one big bird, and he's got a beak on him that long." Yeah. You don't want them on your hook, and they finally my dad, he got a little beat up over it. He finally got control of that loon, and they got the lure out of his mouth. But
that's cool. I know that site for sure.
Yeah.
look at that. That's Jesus, guys, don't be showing that in the winter.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
That was last September.
Oh,
Mark, do you know any more information on what's going on in Dixon Labier, like the whole
Algae thingy?
yeah, so is it the cormorants that causing the problem? Is it global warming, or what's the word on that?
I can't find anything out about it. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't know what's causing it. Would it be climate change combined with the cormorants?
Might be a whole bunch of things. Maybe it's because we're not using pee bottles enough. So
You know what? I just thought of something. He's going camping with me next weekend, and I don't want him bringing a pee bottle into my tent. That's why he brought that up.
Yeah.
what? Who's going with you next weekend?
Rick, the other fellow that was here that couldn't hear
my
you.
God.
Hey, they're going winter camping. So you said there's 5 of you going there, Mark?
Yeah. We're gonna go in at Canis Bay this time. So
Yeah.
something easy.
No. So Mark, here's a great opportunity for your great practical joke. Fill his entire pack with pee bottles.
pee bottles.
He's probably watching this right now.
Okay, maybe that's not a good idea.
Yeah. Cat. The cat just got out of that bag. Yeah.
I don't want to, because I don't want to open up my whiskey bottle next weekend and start taking a drink from it.
Oh, no.
You know.
That's not good.
Oh no, you definitely want that bottle well identified. Yeah.
So canoeing.
Yeah.
Change the subject.
Oh, so
There you go,
Yeah,
Mark.
Mark, Avid Outdoors guy is a double blader.
What?
All the way.
What?
Double blade.
Oh.
Here we go on a double and
blade.
single blade again. I
Way to
sit
go.
on kayak. I'm getting tempted to just use a single blade with that damn thing just to make Kevin happy.
I'll fight him all day on it. It's so much better.
Doggone, I got to paddle my kayak around with a single blade just to make him accept kayaks. That's I think.
But look at the steam coming off the top of Kevin's head.
Last weekend I was doing the winter workshop, and Tom, that's probably still listening here. I don't know where he disappeared, whatever. But it was a winter workshop, and what was the number one question? Do you double blade in a canoe, Kevin?
Oh
The
boy.
answer is you should.
You know, one of the reasons I lean toward Kevin's arguments in that, well, another reason is that single blade, that it's an appreciation thing for one thing, because if you're using good single blades, you've got some craftsmanship in your hands also. I mean, a good single blade, if it's custom made, I mean, you're out there using some true craftsmanship, and you're going the old school way. You know, I hate to admit that, but I like that part of it.
I can appreciate that much about it.
You know, I
really am joking most of the time. I have used a double blade on big water, especially in the far north on a solo trip. It depends on the canoe you're using. In a prospector, it makes no sense at all. Sorry, guys, but you got to be low down to the ground to use a double blade. So a cruiser or whatever that actually Avid, the canoe you use, that makes complete sense. I am concerned, as Uncle Kev, to be quite honest, about the lack of skill on single blading and double blading a canoe. And I'm really concerned about the lack of skill in the outdoors because of that. And I will be Uncle Kev to the day I die because of it, because you know, the First Nations people knew what they're doing. They single bladed or they double bladed in big water. And so they've been doing that for hundreds and thousands of years, right? So if it's a trend to double blade to get across big water, that's fine. And in low-lying conditions, whatever. But in a prospector, you're getting yourself wet doing that. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm off on tangent. So even to the point that Dennis has left.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not opposed to single
feels-
play. I'm really
feels-
not. If I had,
Started, yeah.
Dennis
I
left.
have-
Look at guys, he's left us.
he's left us. Yeah.
if I had somebody
You
take
forgot
me
his
out
feet.
all day, like a whole day in a boat with single blade and taught me all the strokes and just made sure that I was proficient at all of them, then I wouldn't be opposed to it. But I'm not good at it. I don't know. I've tried. I feel like I'm just, the more I teach myself, the more I'm teaching myself the wrong way.
Well, that's it. Is if
Sorry,
you have no habits,
Sorry,
you can
when
teach
sorry,
yourself
when
a lot
you
of
say
bad
you're not
habits.
good at something, it's meaning that you're not good at it yet.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's the teacher in me. Sorry, but never ever say you're not good at something.
Well, yeah. Yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing though, Kevin, is if you don't have some good instruction, you can teach yourself bad habits, and all you do is teach yourself to be really good at those bad habits. Because you may not ever learn something new. You become repetitive in your bad habits. So if you have somebody that's knowledgeable and can walk you through, it makes a big difference, because then you can progress and become proficient in it.
Well, and I think that's true with me too, because I could be that old fogey that's not listening to progression.
Right.
That's
Right.
one-
Oh, I do that. I got to stop myself, because I got something to learn every dang day, you know.
Yeah, if you're in a
Just like who doesn't like pee bottles, you know. I didn't know that there was such a breach between different campers. But now I do.
You know, that is funny that you say that, because I was going to go on this great philosophical thing, whatever, but it comes down to pee bottles. If you need a pee bottle, use it. If you don't, go outside. Like
That's it. I mean,
it doesn't matter as long as you get outside. I mean, as long as you're going outside, I don't really care.
yeah. If you're outdoors, if you got to have a pee bottle, at least you're outdoors. You know, come on. It's just
That's the whole thing. Yeah. Some people need them.
whatever it takes.
In the middle of the night, I kind of like getting out to stretch my legs for a second and look at the stars. Right? You can't do that with a pee bottle.
Don't do that. You'll pee on your foot.
Oh, that's what Viagra's for, I guess. I don't know.
That's one thing too, is, you know, if you go outdoors to pee, you start learning the outdoor peeing tricks in the dark. Certain things you don't pee on. Don't walk up close to a blue spruce and pee on it, because all the way from your knees down, going to be soaking wet, because it's all going to run right down those boughs, right down the front of you. You know,
Pee again.
Mark, please tell us an Algonquin story. It's gone to hell.
Yes, thank you.
What?
That's the beauty of overtime, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
So Mark, we talked about your favorite lake, your favorite area. What is the most sort of like the one area in Algonquin that is what I call it is you like it because it's sort of familiar, the familiar place. You always like to go there, even though you like to try different areas and go to Temagami, whatever. What is the one place in Temagami you always like to go because it's just familiar to you?
You mean in Algonquin?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, the north end of the park, northwest side.
Is that because where do you live, Mark? Like not your house, right? I don't need your address, whatever. But is that because where you live or what?
No, I live on Lake Simcoe.
Oh my God. Okay, so why the north then?
I don't know. It appeals to me. The most wildlife encounters I've had have been in that area of the park. I like the big open lakes with the portages going into them. Just less traffic. There's historical aspects to that area of the park. I find there's a lot of history there. I don't know. I mean, look at Highway 60. Yeah, I think you can see why a lot of the experienced Algonquinites stay away from there in the summer, is because it's the tourist corridor. It's quite busy.
Very
And I get that. I understand that there's a necessity for that, and I was part of that gang, maybe if you will, like 20 years ago. But I've grown beyond that, so now I go further a field into the north end of the park.
Mm-hmm.
What it is that really appeals to me about it, I don't know if I can really put my finger on it. To me, I find it to be like one of the quietest areas of the park. I've had some of the best wildlife encounters. The only time I've ever seen bears is through access number 2 and access number 29 in the park. That's it. Moose, deer, all the wildlife I've seen up there. And I find that there's less trash up there, less abuse, with the campsites and the portages. Although I have seen it up there, but just to a lesser degree. Yeah, and it takes a little bit of time getting there. I like that. I don't like to rush in and, I'm at camp in 2 hours. No, I don't mind that 8-hour journey just to get to camp and relax and know that you really are away from the crowds.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Going down into the Nipissing from the north end from North T. What is your choice between the two creeks?
Oh, you mean if I was to come down like from North T Lake into the Nipissing?
From Bigger Lake, yeah.
I would. Well, I've never been down Lowren Creek. So I would definitely do that.
Oh, okay.
I would like to go way of Gibson Lake. I'd like to go there again. I haven't been through there yet. I have been through there, but I haven't been through there lately in a number of years.
Yeah.
I do remember though going down to the Nipissing from Nod or Nid Lake. That portage, it's relatively downhill. It got kind of muddy at the bottom, but that is a nice run if you're coming up from Birchcliff Creek. Mind you, would have to go through Birchcliff Creek on Birchcliff Lake. You're going uphill all the way.
Yeah.
J.E.H. McDonald, and then into Lauren Harris. Then it starts to go downhill. But I've never been through Lowren Creek, so I'd probably want to do it that way next time.
Yeah, it's full of alder. I thought it'd be interesting to ask you that because I still it's like a toss, right? I've tried both. I don't know how many times, and it all depends on water dependence, whatever. But I think at the end of the day, Birchcliff is better as long as you're ready to portage a lot. So.
Well, you missed the big 2,000 meter unmaintained portage by doing Birchcliff.
Well, Birchcliff is it's not maintained, but it's more maintained than the other creek. Not many people do the other. Mind you, there's a lot of logging relics in the other creek. That's really cool.
Well, that'd be cool. Yes, I'm looking at the map right now. It says on Lofren, there's a 2,010 meter portage.
On what creek?
Lofren.
Oh, Lowren. Okay, yeah.
Lofren.
I thought you said Birchcliff. I'm like, no. Birchcliff is only like 900 or something.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
Are there parts of the park that you haven't been to yet that you'd really, really like a sort of your bucket list to hit in Algonquin?
Yeah, and I'm doing it this year.
Okay.
I want to get into I forget the name.
Off he goes to the map again.
Jeez. Where are we here? Oh yeah. That stretch from the Nipissing to Arabla Lake, Nadine, Osler, Little Osler.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. It's not nice though. It's uphill, but Nadine Lake is friggin' awesome.
Yeah, I've been told though, if you're gonna go there, go from the Nipissing. Don't come down from Arabla because you're going the wrong way. If you're going from Arabla, it's more uphill.
Yeah, it's both uphill. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, yeah, I want to go through there. So.
Oh yeah, it's funny. I haven't been there that much, but oh yeah, Nadine Lake is just. And make sure you camp in Nadine. Like it's aqua blue water, right?
Oh yeah.
And there's trout there. Yeah. I mean, no, there's no trout there.
Okay.
I gotta go. I'm on another show.
I was just gonna say, Kevin, you're on another live here in about 5 minutes. So anytime you need to excuse yourself.
Well, Tom, where is he? Come on.
Tom, yep. And I could also see that Martin Pine is in this stream. Just to let everybody know, because I have no problem announcing this, there's another stream that's going to be happening after this show from Rain Dance Bushcraft. and Kevin Callan and Martin Pine and
Mike.
the other
Mike
fellow
Morton.
name.
Mike.
Pardon?
Mike Morton.
Mike Morton. Yes. There we go. They're going to be talking about winter camping, I believe. Kevin?
Yeah. I'll find out in a minute here.
I know
We don't have to hear about
If anybody wants to check that out, be sure to check out Rain Dance Bushcraft at around 9:00. And Jess is a great guy, runs a great stream as well. So check that out, and you'll get some great information on winter camping.
That's fantastic. I'm going to leave now. Mark, way to go. Keep up the good work. Looking forward to your show on Rogers. That's hilarious. My girlfriend and I would sit there and like, woohoo, Mark is on. Mark is on. And
Hi, Christine. Christine's in the chat. You see that?
Is she really?
Yes. Hi, Christine. How are you?
Well, I'm glad to
Checking up on you, Kevin.
glad to hear you.
You know what? I just become nervous. Oh, Martin is telling me I got to go. Okay.
Yes.
Bye.
Kevin, we'll talk to you later. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate you joining the chat as usual, and we'll see you soon.
Okay. And also, by the way, Dennis, Tom did say really good things about you at the workshop.
You know, I got a good chuckle out of it. So did the guys when we were winter camping, because that's where I caught the message. So all good. We're all good.
Bye.
Okay. Later, Kevin.
Bye, Kevin.
And then there were 4. Oh, look, Tom is back here.
Tom's
Welcome back, Tom. Can you hear us?
There he is.
There he is.
Hey, how you doing?
Got the headphones on. He's trying to hear us.
Yeah, but my
Not sure.
I live up in I know. I live out in the bush. And I can't see you guys. My internet connection is like slower than a hamster on a treadmill. It's pretty bad up here. So
That's okay. So yeah, I seen the video with you and Kevin there. Hope he didn't hurt you too bad at the winter workshop.
no, it was a great experience. Lots of great people that were there. Kevin, he's Kevin, and very like the quality of instruction was awesome. He obviously his experience, it was chock full of great information throughout. From I think it started at 9 to like 4, so we did everything from fire starting, finding a site. It was really good.
That's cool. And where did that take place?
It was up in Halliburton, just north of Peterborough. So it was up in the Halliburton Highlands. Then it was kind of an outdoor they have conferences. Bark Lake.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it was it was done through Yours Outdoors.
Oh, very good. That's cool. That's cool. So you're familiar with most people here in the stream over that way?
I haven't met Tom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to
All
see
good
you,
stuff.
Tom.
I'm in the chat.
Yeah, that's cool. That's all good. Good to have you on. Anyways, we've never met, but hopefully are you going to the Outdoor Adventure Show?
Yeah, I'm hoping to hit the Saturday session. So I hope to see you guys there for sure.
Cool. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of us there for sure. So
Is there anybody else going or?
Show,
Okay.
yeah. Cool. Anyways, we're getting ready. Sorry, you just joined, but we're getting ready to close up the stream here because I do want to check out a bit of Jess's live stream tonight, which, like I say, goes on at 9:00. This isn't a plug for him, but feel free to go over and do a Canoehound raid. Sty, do you know Jess's site?
Pine Martin posted it
Okay.
up here. He put the link up here.
Okay. But yeah, Rain Dance Bushcraft. But Mark, you know what? You've been an awesome guest, man. I look forward to the day that we could actually run into each other and maybe I can get some pointers off you about the park because I'm not really versed in Algonquin Park. I think my Michigan friend down or my Indiana friend down here knows more about it than I do. So Yeah.
Going bashing on it. He's like, oh, it's too busy. Like, you just go to the wrong place, Dennis.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, I go to the Crown Land places, so that's my niche, right? But no, it's really great to learn a lot more about what you're doing there, Mark. You're doing a great job. I love your show, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. It's got high entertainment value, so everybody could check that out on look up on YouTube, Mark in the Park, and you'll see there's 10 episodes?
Yeah. There's 9 episodes plus the 10th one, which is like a recapping episode. So
yeah.
Yep, I subscribed.
Yeah. So
even 10 episodes coming up next month, starting next month.
Yeah, if you do the subscription to Roger's video, it doesn't get you to Mark's videos. It gets you to the whole Roger's TV channel, which has got a whole bunch of stuff. You can do that, but best way to find it, I find, is through just punching in YouTube search for Mark in the Park, and then just keep track of your episodes going down. So,
well, thanks for having me on your show. It's been a lot of fun, and it's great to see some old faces and some new ones too. So,
yeah. Well, you're welcome back anytime for sure, Mark. We have a great bunch of people here. We seem to be building a good community here of people that enjoy. We're all enjoying the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're from Canada, the U.S., or abroad, it's all good if we get ourselves out there on the water or in the great outdoors. No matter what you're doing, get out there and enjoy it. You know what? Winter, spring, summer, fall. Get out there and breathe some fresh air. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. Into the outdoors, folks.
You know it. So I'm just going to close up the show here. If you guys could stick around in the green room once I close off the show there, just so we can have a quick little chat after the show. Just want to pass on a couple of reminders to everybody that's still in the live stream here. There will not be a show next week. I'm on holidays, but we're returning with on the 18th of February. We're going to have Sean Emery, who is known by many as Shug. He's the hammock guy. Woo, buddy! Is his claim to fame. But he's a great guy. It's going to be a really, really interesting show. Anybody that wants winter hammock camping tips or summer hammock camping tips, hiking tips, things like that. He's a wealth of knowledge. So that's
winter hammock camping.
Winter hammock camping.
Yep.
Yes,
it's a thing.
It is a thing.
That's
right.
It sure is.
Yeah. And then also the following week on the 25th of February, we have Brad Jennings from Explore the Outdoors. He just popped into the live stream here a little while ago. Looking forward to that one as well. He's got a lot of great adventures under his belt as well, and he's multifaceted, more than just canoeing. He also does mountain biking and things of that sort. So we'll touch on all that stuff. And that's on the 25th of February. Once again, Mark, thanks for being a guest tonight. Sty, Tom, Ethan, of course, Kevin there, and Brad. I know it was short-lived, but thanks for popping onto the stream tonight and getting in on panel on overtime. It's always a pleasure having you guys on. If you haven't already done so, I ask, please hit that thumbs up button while you're here right now. I need the thumbs up because I'm trying to get this channel more recognized so we can build this community. And if you haven't already done so, please smash the subscribe button and the bell notification, and you'll be attuned to all the stuff that's coming up in the future on Canoehound's Outdoor Adventure Show. And also follow us on Facebook so you know exactly what our scheduling is going to be and all kinds of neat things being posted on there. And that's about it. So just want to say, everybody, until next time, I'm Dennis from Canoehound Adventures and Canoehound's Outdoor Adventure Show saying, remember, does anybody know my tagline? Keep the adventures alive. Have a good night, everybody.
That's right.
Thanks for popping in. Go check out Rain Dance Bushcraft.
Right.